guys, how y'all doing tonight? What's going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live for my second live review of AEW Dynamite here on YouTube. As this is, of course, just the first review that I do just the one single show, since last week we caught up kind of with everything that's been going on. And again, I know some of these graphics are a little bit off, especially, with Nyla Rose on the title, but if I ever find a PNG image with Nyla Rose with the Women's World title, I will definitely include it. But I'm sure you're tired of me saying that and sound like a broken record, so I'm going to stop. But, so first, before we get started, guys, again, I do want to apologize again. This whole week has been very rough, crazy. Again, I have a relative who is currently really sick right now, and we're not sure how much longer he has, so that's why, everything has been very, off schedule this week. And of course, like I said, again, my schedule just is so up in the air anymore either way, so that's why these reviews are definitely going to be pretty inconsistent for the time being right now. So, but most importantly, guys, first, just make sure to say a prayer for my family continued. I do want to also just offer my thoughts and prayers as well to everyone out there who has been affected in some way, whether it's themselves or a different family member and such, of the coronavirus as well, as it's definitely affecting a lot of schools, a lot of events, and a lot of other things around the world right now. So I just want to offer my sympathies, my thoughts and prayers for you guys as well, and hoping that as time passes, we do get by and we're able to get back to our normal lives. But with that being said, guys, let's roll into this review of Dynamite. This week's show took place in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we are on the build to the blood and guts show, or whatever the heck it's called, that we're going to be having, I think, on March the 25th, I think it was. What's up, Tyler, by the way? I see you in the live chat. If he says you turned 22, if it's your birthday, Tyler, happy birthday, my friend. Again, thank you as always for your great support. And I'm glad you were able to come back and still support me right after I came back from my long hiatus. And we all know you miss AJ as champion for sure on SmackDown. But okay, so before we go further, first, let me just mention my plan for tonight. As I mentioned on Twitter, again, I'm recording. I have 8 turn alerts left currently, maybe 9 because I'm still considering what to do about Drew Gulak, but I'll talk about that in the SmackDown review. I've watched AEW Dynamite, even though I fell asleep during part of the second hour, and I kind of watched the highlights and caught up it a little bit. And I also watched SmackDown. I have not been able to watch NXT yet, but rather than just delaying these reviews until I get NXT caught up with, I'm just going to go out of order this week, do Dynamite right now. I recorded 4 of the turn alerts before I did this review, record 4 more turn alerts after this, do SmackDown review, and then catch up on NXT and probably review NXT tomorrow, which probably going to be most likely because I'm not standing up and reviewing NXT at 3 o'clock in the morning. But, excuse me. But that's the plan. I'm going to go with that. But anyway, so this episode of Dynamite, I thought it was pretty solid. I didn't think it was the best episode of Dynamite I've seen. I think because it was a weird episode where we're trying to build more towards the show happening on March the 25th. Again, that blood and guts show that they're calling it. So there was that. And then I feel like some of the feuds they veered away from a little bit. Especially the thing with Cody Rhodes and MJF. I get that MJF now is probably more focused on Moxley and his world title, but I still feel like in some ways they should kind of still tease something going on with MJF and Cody Rhodes right now. Because what happened at Revolution was what I wanted to happen. I wanted MJF to win and Cody to eventually get his comeuppance. But they kind of veered away from that and kind of focused on this big 10-man tag match they're having on the 25th between the Inner Circle and the Elite. But I still thought it was a solid show. I'm not going to knock it. It just wasn't the strongest episode of Dynamite I've seen so far, in my opinion. It was solid. I gave him the solid grading for this. So we opened up the show with Hangman Adam Page. He was supposed to be in the main event facing against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle, taking on, of course, the Hangman himself and a mystery partner. Who is the mystery partner going to be? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, we see the Young Bucks then roll up to Page, and he says he needs someone he's known for a very long time, somebody he trusts, but it's neither of the Bucks. And they're like, yeah, we don't work with you yet again either, of course, as well. Still teasing, of course, that tension between, Page and the Young Bucks. And also kind of wondering where they're going to be going with this storyline as well. A lot of us thought a turn would happen with either Hangman Page or the Young Bucks at Revolution. But it did not happen, and now we're still waiting to see, where that story goes further on as we see. So, we opened up with a match with Cody Rhodes taking on Inner Circle's Ortiz. I thought it was a solid match. Good way to kind of get Cody on the card. Brandy in his corner. Arn Anderson is there as well. During the match, though, we did see Jake the Snake Roberts in the crowd. And he appeared on Dynamite last week and teased that he has his own client, on his way to AEW right now. And it seems that is Lance Archer, who is a bigger man, someone that, AEW doesn't really have now. It's too many, big men like Big Show or Braun Strowman, like size caliber wrestlers right now as far as, the men go in the industry. So definitely adding him is we have Luchasaurus, we have him, but adding Lance Archer is kind of going to give it a little more variety of that big man, style that AEW is, not really, full of right now, really, I would say. So obviously, I don't know if they're teasing like a match, because it seems like probably MJF and Moxley are probably going to have a match at Double or Nothing in May, I think. So maybe they'll have Cody Rhodes take on Lance Archer for the time being. I don't know. Again, I still feel like in some ways they need to kind of tease something still going on between MJF and Cody Rhodes. Well, kind of are, because MJF is wearing the I Pin Cody shirt. But I still feel there's something is missing just a little bit. But that's what they kind of teased during this match, but I thought it was solid. Something going on with, again, Lance Archer and Cody Rhodes, and of course Lance Archer being Jake the Snake Roberts' client, as it seems to be. So Cody Rhodes would eventually go on to win by submission with a figure 4 leg lock. Now that he's actually a part of this 10-man tag match, obviously being a part of the Elites team, he is being teased with it. So their teaser match, they had Santana come out and lay out Cody Rhodes, and then Arn Anderson gets in the ring and he backs off. And then Matt Jackson and Kenny Omega come out to make the save. Now, Kenny was not cleared to wrestle because he had his wrist in a cast. But then we have Chris Jericho appear on the screen with Jake Hager and Sam Guevara to call out Cody Rhodes. He says not to forget what he said about putting the entire roster on notice. And at Blood and Guts, they're going to beat the piss out of all of them. You might want to know, I see Kenny's out there, I see, Matt's out there, but where's Nick? And then the camera pans back, and, Hager, Guevara, and Jericho are all sitting there like the biggest smart Alex in the world, basically showing their damage they had done. They had just beaten down Nick Jackson, and they had him squashed between, between a garage door, and the door was closed on his head, and he was bleeding. It looked like a pretty sick looking shot. Very well sold, both, by Jackson, and, the imagery as well, I thought was great as well. And I was just like, dang, they really, pulled that off pretty good, I gotta say. So, Inner Circle leave, and this baby basically just laugh it off about what they've done. This is send another message as well. And then Nick Jackson gets loaded to an ambulance. And then most of the baby faces get loaded and fall along with him as well. Okay, I thought that was done really well for sure. Again, it looks like the idea behind, they kind of had the suspense, kind of you didn't see it happening, but obviously you can believe it happened with how dangerous the Inner Circle is with Jericho, Hager, Guevara, and Pride and Powerful's Santana and Ortiz for sure. But again, I thought that was sold really well, and I gotta say that was probably one of the better spots of the night, I gotta say for sure. So I like that. We had a women's tag match. The women's champion Nyla Rose and Bea Presley taking on Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander, who I keep saying Chris Statlander is one I'm super high on. I thought her and Nyla had a solid match at Revolution. But wasn't, of course, one of my favorite matches, but I thought it was pretty solid. I keep saying, though, this women's division, though, I think is still the weakest part of AEW right now. They're still kind of, seasoning and whatnot. And Rhea was a solid champion, but of course she was not around that much. Nyla Rose, though, has been here a lot already. So I feel like that kind of gets her the edge a little bit as who's better champion. But again, I think this women's division, besides, her, Rio, Chris Statlander's done a good job, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD as well, which of course we heard from her earlier on the show. She is killing it right now. Are great additions, to definitely build this women's division around. But once again, I still feel like it's the division that still needs the most work, in my opinion. Not a bad match. The heels won, but after the match, Bea Priestley does attack Nyla Rose very briefly and holds up the AEW Women's World title. So basically showed that she wants to be the one to challenge for the championship next, which, is fine with me. I'm not sure if they are going to go through with it or not, but, we'll have to wait and see. Tyler says, bring back GMs for Raw and SmackDown. Yes, for sure, because, they literally wore the heck out of us with doing the whole wild card rule, as I keep constantly saying, but what do you know? What can I say? So we had that happen there. We had a vignette also, Christopher Daniels, in the style of Dark Order's vignettes. Self-help infomercial gimmick, which he runs down the Dark Order and says, there is no exalted one. So he's going to, just to prove that, Dark Order is saying the exalted one is coming, Matt Hardy, we're still all assuming, because Matt Hardy, again, if I haven't said yet, has left WWE because, creatively they had differences, but he still feels in some ways he can contribute to the wrestling industry, which is why he didn't stay, and his brother chose to stay in WWE. Of course, Jeff had his return match on SmackDown, and we'll talk about SmackDown, of course, when we get there. This is, of course, Dynamite. But anyway, so to prove that there's no exalted one, he's challenging to singles matches Evil Uno and Stu Grayson anytime they like. And when he beats them and the exalted one doesn't save them, it's going to prove that he's right. There is no exalted one. Kind of going to lead the suspense, though, to lead to what we're going to be getting. We then had MJF and the Butcher and the Blades, Andy Williams and Pepper Parks, of course, with Allie the Bunny in their corner, taking on Jurassic Express's Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, Marco Stunt, and Luchasaurus. Not a bad tag match, just another way to kind of, put over MJF in this feud. So he gets the victory, pinning with a submission with Salt of the Earth from him onto Marco Stunt to get another victory for him. Again, obviously getting ready to set him up to being in the world title match at Double or Nothing. We have a weird black and white video from Darby Allin where a body bag labeled Sammy is dragged behind a truck because he took out Sammy Guevara recently. Then we have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, being interviewed by Mr. Starbucks himself, Tony Schiavone. She's like, I brought your favorite coffee. And she would have bought some for the whole crowd, but caffeine is frowned upon here in Utah. So she would also like to have a couple more cold ones. But whoops, can't do that either. Sugar. However, it isn't hard to find around here, because here's high BMIs and poor oral health. But she's a dentist, though, so she can gladly help. Everyone's face looks similar, like this is a giant family reunion. But she's here to be a role model. She'll lead by example. And then Tony tells her she's not making friends here, but she says she can't thank us enough for standing ovations every single week, which is not happening. She's getting a lot of heat. Out comes Big Swole, who tells Baker to keep talking, and she acts like she doesn't watch the product. Baker slides behind Mr. Starbucks, and Big Swole tells her she doesn't even like her. He doesn't even like her. Britt says she's irrelevant, and the only one in her household that anyone cares about is her boyfriend. To which Big Swole points out she's married. Baby! Because that's to Adam Cole, who's a lucky son of a gun. How does she respond? She takes Mr. Starbucks coffee and throws it in Big Swole's face. Obviously fueling the fire between us more and probably leading to some sort of a match. Maybe we'll get into this match at Double or Nothing or something, which I'd like to see, to get something else on the card besides, a women's championship match. And obviously, with Britt Baker being one of the more established ones, a good way to put it over, Big Swole. I think it'd be a good feud to save till Double or Nothing. That's my opinion. But just what I like to think. We then had Death Triangle's Pac, Rey Fenix, and Pentagon Jr. from the Lucha Bros taking on Joey Janela and Private Parties, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Quinn. I don't know, again, this match was good, but again, solid. But the fact that, again, we're doing how many heel stables now on Dynamite? We got, Inner Circle, we got, whatever MJF's doing with the Butcher and the Blade. We got, Death Triangle now. To me, I feel like it's kind of a little too many stables. Heel stables, at least, in my opinion. But, the match is still solid. Death Triangle win. With Black Arrow from Pac on Joey Janela. Afterwards, they lock all three baby faces in one giant submission. But then the Best Friends makes the save, and Orange Cassidy slides in and does a kip up, of course. Because, of course, he had a great showing against Pac at Revolution as well. They're kind of keeping this feud going and showing, hey, I could have beat you. He's still lurking around, kind of bothering him. But, that was good there. Then we had this interview with Dustin Rhodes. He's pissed. He's tired of the Inner Circle running roughshod on everyone, including his own family. You saw what happened to Nick Jackson, and someone needs to stop him. So, he's basically begging Hangman Adam Page to be his partner, whether he likes it or not. He's fixing to kick some ass and do some cowboy shit, he says. Just to basically shut these guys up. You also get another vignette for Sean Spears' quest to find a tag team partner, including clips from Suge D, Mr. Brickster, and Anthony Bowens, among others. And also we're informed that we're going to find out who the Exalted One is next week. Matt Hardy, we'll have to wait and see. We also have JR having an interview with Moxley. He's not clear to compete, and he's pissed off about it. He talks about his plans for revenge, and so on. Basically just saying obviously the feud with him and Jericho is not done yet, and him and the rest of the Inner Circle. And our main event was Hangman Adam Page and Dustin Rhodes taking on Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara in a pretty solid tag match. The babyfaces win with the buckshot from Page on Sammy Guevara, who seemed to be taking a lot of the pins for the Inner Circle, I feel like. But afterwards, though, all hell broke loose. Obviously set up for this 5-man tag match with the Elite and the Inner Circle at Blood and Guts in a few weeks. Rest of the Inner Circle comes out and jumps the baby faces and beats them down. Even though he has a broken hand, Kenny Omega comes out and makes a save. But he gets overwhelmed by the numbers games and eats a Judas effect from Jericho, which then brings out Cody Rhodes, who has returned back to the arena because he had went off to the hospital to see Nick Jackson to make the save. But he put boots to Jericho, but Jake Hager hit the high-angled swing spine buster and dumps him to the floor. Ortiz then hooks Rhodes on the ramp, hits a straight suplex onto the steel. Hager lays strikes in on Omega in the ring, but Jericho directs traffic and gets him to the floor. Chair in hand, they drag Page to the stage. That's a nice rhyme there. Set him up for a triple powerbomb, but then Matt Jackson comes down and makes the save. Super kicks, double spear, fired up, but then Randy punches down on top of Jericho. He gets face to face with Page and flips him the bird. And Jericho takes advantage and whops both of them with the steel chair. He sets the chair over Matt's chest and sits on it, taunting him. And the Inner Circle stand tall in this brutal, chaotic beatdown to end the show. I thought that was pretty nice going there. And you know what as well? I kind of think this show is a little... I feel like I give the show just a tad bit more credit. In the description box, I gave it a B-. I'm going to give it a B. I mean, yes, they kind of veered away from some of the storylines a little bit, confused me a little bit, I gotta say. But, I still thought it was a good show. I didn't think it was as, I thought I gave it just a B minus before, but I think it's good enough to receive a strong B, I feel, this week for Dynamite. As again, they're more so gearing towards Blood and Guts on March 25th. We still have plenty of time, of course, for Double or Nothing. So I'll give tonight's show a B. Well, this week's episode of Dynamite a B. Tyler also says I will have Goldberg as Universal Champion, then Brock back in 2017. That's fair game there. Yeah, but guys, that's going to do it for this review of AEW Dynamite from the March 11th, 2020 edition. Again, I will give AEW Dynamite a B this week. Strong B. Again, I will be recording the last 4 turn alerts I got to do for this catch-up tour, and then I'll also review SmackDown before I start catching up on NXT before I go to bed tonight. I do deserve a nice, well-deserved rest to sleep in tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. So guys, once again, what are your thoughts on Dynamite this week? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure to always to slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBonnie3. Again, I'll be back up here in a little bit to do my live review of SmackDown tonight, and then tomorrow I will do my live review of NXT. Expect the last 8 turn alerts to be uploaded tonight, and we'll be officially all caught up with turn alerts for the time being. Again, I want to also try to get my NXT TakeOver Tampa Bay card predictions done this weekend, and NXT UK TakeOver card predictions done. Well, I'll do that one after I catch up with NXT UK, just to see what's going on for sure. I definitely do card predictions for those for sure. And after that, I will try to catch up on the live reviews from the pay-per-views that I have missed. And we're almost completely caught back up with the channel here, guys. So that's it, guys. Again, make sure to slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBonnie3, and I will see you guys all in a little bit for my live review of SmackDown. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your night, and peace out, everybody.